Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Warped, a completely unnecessary Star Trek podcast, where we do unasked-for audio commentary of Star Trek episodes. Here are your hosts, Sean.
Get me to my regular doctor. They're familiar with my weird, things.
Matt.
It's completely bonkers, and I didn't understand what was happening like 80% of the time, but I loved it.
Jake.
His abs unfurled.
Philippe.
I don't have honor! What's the point? I want to live and sing and dance.
Erin.
This show is so good, we're just like watching it.
Min Win.
Would you fuck, marry, or kill me?
All of that.
I would do all three. All three in that order.
And May.
Dear Diary, I kissed an android today, and he told me he felt nothing.
Make it so.
And unlike what you just heard on the intro, we aren't a full crew today. There's only 4 of us in the crew. I'm running the board. Says producer Jake is not here today.
Engineer Sean.
That's right.
We got Engineer Sean. It's been kind of spotty, guys. I just wanted to say, I miss it too early for feedback. Because, I know Matt did not have his headphones.
I have no complaints at all. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
That was not what the trailer part, the trailer part.
I got dumped down a level. I used to be the talent.
You have to understand that my public persona is that I'm nice.
Yeah.
So I can't be seen.
Exactly.
I can't be seen abusing
You're
going to
be hearing from his people, though.
He's the
This is not the White Lotus.
Yeah. You're the James Corden.
Matt is the
that is the worst thing anyone has ever said. Did you just call me the James Corden of his crew?
Because isn't he getting in trouble for being mean?
Yeah,
I was.
He's one of those classic
the Ellen
assholes.
Ellen DeGeneres of our crew, but.
Nice.
Oh, you both had the same idea at the same time?
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, but across the pond.
What are we doing, Sean?
Today we are watching season 5, episode 13. When we're done with this episode, we'll be halfway through
Star Trek.
this season of Star Trek.
This season of
You've tried that trick before, and it hasn't worked. But keep trying.
Trying to get
It's
into
One
called-
of these days, we're going to be like, yeah, you're right.
That's probably about right. The Masterpiece Society.
Yeah.
And I got 45-31. Go ahead and punch the triangle when you're ready.
45-31. Let me see if I can get it to go back a little bit. Hold on.
Here we go. Oh, we're still 5:45.
Okay, 0-0-0-0.
punch the triangle.
Punch it again.
I keep telling you, it's an
Once
X
more
on this
into the
controller.
punch.
Oh yeah, it's an X, but it's
There it is.
There we go. We're going.
Captain's
going.
log.
Yep.
the Moab sector.
We're in
Yeah,
the
you
Moab.
you were talking up the Moab sector earlier
So
we started recording.
before we started recording, Erin had some interesting news for us
news
today.
about the Moab sector. It's time for Moab news.
What's going on in the Moab?
Tell us what you did today.
I watched this episode.
Wow.
What?
I mean, I'm genuinely shocked. I'm not even. It's not a bit.
I just saw this is not a whoopee episode.
It's not a. You had no reason, no obligation.
No obligation.
You literally said to yourself, "I am going to sit down and watch Star Trek the next."
It only took 5.5 years, guys,
Oh,
but
it's
we
working.
finally did it.
That apparently,
we finally did it.
now we have a baseline to go off.
Yeah.
It takes 5.5 years of psychological abuse involving repeated exposure, Ludovico technique style, to Star Trek The Next Generation to turn a non-nerd into a fan.
Yeah, Clockwork Oranging here every week with episodes.
So, what did you think of the episode?
I actually enjoyed it. It's the first time that I've watched one all the way through.
Ever?
No.
Not ever.
I know.
In a while where I just watched it prior to this.
Uh-huh. So it's fresh in your mind.
It's fresh in
You're
my
going to be able to do the plot summary, right?
Sure.
All right. That's the
great.
best. So I watched it. You watched it, Matt?
I did.
And Philippe, you said you watched some of it?
I came in and had to be astonished that it was on.
Is this
When did you get back from the hospital after the heart attack you had?
I know.
When you saw your wife watching Star Trek alone.
I assumed there was a cocktail party where people were pitching Amway, but no, it was my wife watching Star Trek. And so it was pretty shocking. I was just like,
So you saw some of this.
I saw the last. I saw the denouement or whatever we call that.
The denouement?
The denouement. Wait, that's one of the ships, right?
Yeah,
Right.
the USS denouement.
It always shows up at the end.
Yeah, only in the third act.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone else is like, this fucking ship never
They never
shows
show up at the
until
end of the
last
goddamn
fight.
battle.
Yeah.
They're always the one who shoots the last missile.
That's the USS
They're like
Climax.
those linebackers who just jump on the pile and then cheer that they got the tackle.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know?
That goes on my stats, right?
So this guy,
This haircut.
guy.
Can we talk about that
Aaron,
guy's haircut?
Do we want to talk about this guy?
Yes, he's what Pee Wee Herman plus eugenics brings.
Wow, you really did watch the episode.
know.
You know it's about eugenics.
I thought he had one of those like like those Western ties.
I
One of those
I
bolo
thought it was a
ties.
very skinny tie, and then I realized it's a zipper.
Yeah, their clothing did not go through genetic improvement.
Right.
go
They
through-
didn't like geneticize a fashion designer
Yeah.
while
Their
they were
shit's
at
weird.
it.
Yeah, it's all science.
I love how it looks like a food court in a mall too.
And there are some gaping flaws in their genetic.
I wonder where
paradise.
this was filmed.
That's outside at Paramount.
You think so?
Yeah.
It's just on the lot.
Yeah.
I recognize the older actor here.
Yeah, Ron
He's been in
Canada.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we have to talk about the fact that his name is Ron Canada.
Is it
That's great.
Canada? Is that how to pronounce?
Oh, how else would you pronounce
Maybe
it?
like Canada or something.
Canadian?
Well, I don't know. Is he Canadian?
Oh my god, if he is,
I
that's too
don't
much.
think
Did you
so.
look him up?
I did look him up.
I thought you would.
I did. Let's see. It doesn't really say.
I've recognized him from other
Wikipedia would say is an American actor or is a Canadian actor.
They're always trying to
Yeah,
separate
IMDb
them.
does
He's
not
the only
say
person who
where
doesn't
he is.
start with Wikipedia
Yeah.
when he's doing research.
No.
Well, I guess I've already
He goes
got
to
it
the
up.
dark net right away.
He goes to IMDb, which is a terrible place for information.
Oh my
because
god, and the new
it's such
IMDb,
a jumble.
That's
All right,
And
so
it's-
today we're watching The Masterpiece Society, Star Trek Next Generation, Season 5, Episode 13. Original air date February 8th, 1992. Working together to prevent the annihilation of a perfectly balanced, isolated society with no contingency for outside visitors may in fact destroy it. Aaron, you watched the episode. Liked the episode.
Yeah.
Is
What
this
would
the
you-
first time ever everyone has watched the
I'm
episode?
trying to think. I mean, I know Philippe only watched the day.
I mean, we're understaffed this week, but it still
I
counts.
think it's rare. I don't know. I
we have a
can't say.
quorum.
Right.
4 is a quorum.
There might have been some episodes with just you, me, and Jake where we all three have
Maybe
watched
way
it.
back,
Back
but
in-
it's
yeah,
been
a
long.
long-
It's been a while.
Not since we started doing this show. Not since next
No,
year.
I don't think. Yeah, those would have been old ones. Yeah.
Really old ones.
Uh,
Okay, Aaron, let's hear it. What's your number?
You guys were kind of like dissing this episode a little bit.
Oh,
I'll say
this is the classic question with this game: is do you trust your gut or do you trust your?
6.8?
I think that this is slightly
higher, right?
But no, I think it's slightly lower. Okay. But I think it's just slightly lower. So I'm going to say 6.7, even though there's no way I can win.
It is a 6.7.
Oh my god.
On the nose.
I was like, there's no way to win with that bet because there's.
Yeah, you don't have any
there's
room.
nowhere
Unless
to go-
you
there's
unless you
nowhere
hit
to
it
go
right
up.
on, you can't go up.
Oh my God. That's my greatest accomplishment.
There you go.
Thanks, everybody. End of podcast.
Yeah.
See ya. Sean, drive me home. Let's go.
Jake, play the jingle.
There's no more point. Play that. This is the end jingle that I had you write 4 years ago.
We knew it was coming.
So what do I know Canada from?
He's been in everything.
Does it say if he's American or Canadian?
It does not.
God
it just
damn
gives
it,
a list of
internet.
those
Why
things.
have you failed me?
IMDb.
Where's Kathy Ireland from?
Canada.
She's ironically. Yeah, Run Canada is definitely okay. His Google, the very first thing it says is American actor. You got to get off of IMDb. It's not doing you any favors.
How do you even find anything on IMDb?
It's
I feel
such
like
a
he played
the
somebody's like
visual
grumpy dad.
jumble of IMDb.
Yeah.
He's still acting.
Yeah.
Ron is?
Yeah, he's in something. He was in The Best Man. He's in The Best Man, the final chapters.
Okay.
The new Best Man series.
Oh, he's not even that old. He's only 73. He just looks a little older than that. And he doesn't look older than 73, but he looks.
Yeah, the gray hair.
Yeah, the gray hair makes him look older.
But he's been around forever. I mean,
Classic Steve Martin move.
I was trying to look at his IMDb to think about where I really remember him good from, and I couldn't really find
I
it.
feel like he played someone's dad, like someone's grumpy dad on something that I saw not too long ago. Like he's serious. He's good at having a serious face.
Was he the dad?
Was he on?
He was on several seasons of The West Wing.
Okay.
Oh, that's where I know him from, because I watched the hell out of The West Wing. Multiple times. Oh, yeah. He's done every TV show.
Was he on Psych?
It does not.
Was he the uncle?
I thought maybe he played a dad on Psych of one of the characters, like on one of the.
He's been on every. He was in. I think he's in Next Gen, Voyager, and Deep Space Nine.
Oh, he did the trifecta.
Yeah, I think he's done all
back in the day.
All three.
And a lot of people did that back then. They would just rotate him around the lot.
I guess if you just got in with the casting director.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and it was all a very, very tight operation, right? They were all shooting.
Yeah, it was all one big
They were all,
machine,
yeah, it was
pretty
just one
much.
big machine. Rick Berman was, Kevin Feigeing Star Trek at the time. And
the other guy.
Yeah, so if you got in good with somebody, they just kept bringing you back as different people, Law and Order does the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Law and Order is constantly bringing people back as different characters.
Yeah.
Broadway chorus line people keep popping up in Law and Order. It's a good gig.
Yeah, that makes
If
sense.
you're-
They're in town.
Yeah, if you get a
So the other guy, the main guy.
Yeah, the main guy.
John Snyder is his name.
Okay, what's
and
his
he
story?
does voiceover stuff. He's done anime for years. He's been doing anime
He's got a
for
face for anime.
25 years.
That man has a face for anime.
I mean, I just felt like
He does video game voiceover too.
Deanna would
looks
not
like
get with this dude.
But he looks like kind of a male version of her. He's got those big brown eyes. Like,
In his IMDb, they say he has an uncanny Christopher Lee demeanor and a Joe Strummer looks.
He does
and
have a Christopher Lee nose.
A James Mason-esque gaze. And that's why he does voiceover.
Well, that was
That
written.
combination.
That was written by him.
Yeah.
Whoever wrote that.
That was a positive.
I forget his name, but that's who wrote that.
Mm-hmm.
The woman, the scientist lady, her most impressive IMDb was the snobby sales lady in Pretty Woman.
hell yeah.
Oh, that's
Speak of
she's great in that.
full circle moment.
She's really snotty.
Now she is the
she's
Pretty
so
Woman.
snotty in that scene. That's a good performance.
She's still acting.
I've told
too?
you guys my theory that there should be an Oscar for best 5 minutes under performance.
I agree.
You could give an award to that girl lady who played the
Yeah.
snotty.
It's memorable.
So, Aaron, since you watched this,
Sure.
do you want to try and tell us what's going on?
So there's some kind of space problem that's going to create an earthquake or similar to destroy this biodome.
That guy's,
situation.
sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah.
that guy's furrowed brow was so furrowed when he first appeared on screen
Yeah,
that I
like-
thought he was an alien.
I thought he was Luke
I thought it
Perry.
was like a Bajoran, like, you know, thing.
I thought he had ridges.
I thought
ridges.
I thought geneticists had ridges.
Yeah, ruffles.
So anyway, you were saying
Yeah, and so they realize that this area is going to get destroyed because they know this like imminent threat is coming that's going to like kind of destroy it.
Do you remember what the imminent threat is?
It has a name and I forgot.
It's got the word core in it.
Core.
That's the part I remember. It's like the core.
Yeah, there's a name I forgot.
It's like a big comet, basically, right? It's gonna
They
just,
called it
like,
a
slam.
stellar core fragment.
Oh, it's
That's
a
right.
stellar
So
core
it's gonna
fragment.
hit
So it's like a chunk
gonna
of the
hit
core of
chunk
a
the
sun.
sun, yeah.
And it's gonna basically
It's
destroy
going to
this
blow them
place.
all to shit.
But they didn't want to pick up the call at first because they're kind of into their own world. They've basically genetically engineered themselves to be perfect.
Minus the fashion, as we've already discussed.
Minus the zip-up jackets under the jackets. But
There was nobody they did not breed anybody to be like, those bangs are not helping you.
I was gonna say that's
But see, like you would think they would have because they've got like a piano player. They've got
And if they're supposed to be genetically bred to be perfect, why does she like him? Is he the handsomest man on this planet? I hate who Deanna and Beverly choose as boyfriends of the week.
Yeah.
The casting director never picks anybody where you're like, yeah, I can see why she would want to fuck him.
Yeah.
Like, that makes
that
sense.
was hard for me.
Deanna is excited because she thinks of him as like a diplomat. She liked his soft skills.
Yeah, that's what they always say to make up for the fact that these guys are uggos.
Well,
they can't be bothered to
and it
find a
seems like they're
hot
focused-
guy.
Yeah, they're more focused on them being like genetically engineered to work together as a society, and she's supposed to be the best scientist. And yes, they're not supposed to have any like flaws, so theoretically that could be beauty, but that wasn't like the main focus of their
Clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you liked this more than I did, it sounds like.
I mean, the novelty of having to be in the first one she's watched in a year or so.
I got into it. I just like I thought it was interesting because
Ron Canada is not happy.
I love a dark shake of the head and then cut to
he's
commercial.
good at being surly.
Fade out.
So I'm saying I recognize his mug.
Fade out. That's my
He doesn't.
Jiminy Glick.
He is not happy that they reached out.
Well, he's like the representative of like sort of their whole core mission.
He's their historian, right? He's the one who's like, we cannot betray our values.
Right, but they're like, well,
he's the real
we're all
core
gonna
fragment
die.
that's a problem in this episode,
Yeah.
guys.
So let's talk about the situation. What is the ethically correct thing for Jean-Luc and the gang to do here? They already have said,
Warn
well,
them.
you're already interfering just by being here, right? Because the whole premise, which we didn't really say, is that their whole isolationism is based on the fact that everything is in this kind of perfect balance.
So they can't.
And that if anything comes in,
it disrupts
it would disrupt this very delicate. It's like the butterfly farm.
Yeah.
When I was at the butterfly farm, they talked about how delicate butterflies are and how just like even the slightest they would let them come up and like land on your finger, but they were like, do not pet them. Like even the softest touch like is like basically deadly. Like they cannot handle any like disruption of their ecosystem. And that's what these guys are saying.
Yeah,
Like
and I remarked to Philippe earlier in the day, I was just like, they've got it worked out a little too tight. They need to factor in a little bit of
Yeah, it seems like
flexibility. Because
that's
later
not really a
on,
perfect
spoiler
system.
alert, it's like if one person leaves, it's like messes up their whole.
yeah, if the piano teacher leaves, their whole society is
Yes.
fucked.
yeah,
Hey man, play piano, man, and the guy's like,
it's a classic. one of the things I do like about this episode is that it is a sort of classically Star Trek-y episode. It's like order versus disorder.
Right. Yeah.
What is the ethical responsibility?
Like, what is perfection?
You're stepping on the thing.
Oh my god. You always got to get up.
You just barely made it. I mean, it tugged on my ears, but you pulled back at the last second.
And then Geordi and the scientist have a whole exchange.
Well, I think it's interesting how he calls her out for being, he's all, I would have never been born on your planet because they would have.
They would have aborted me because
his
I'm
argument
blind.
is exactly.
Poor Geordi had to wear the ugly contacts this week.
This whole subplot really creeped me out because I spent the whole time waiting for Geordi to get weird and gross with
he never
her.
does.
He never does.
No, this is a good Geordi episode.
It really made me happy, but only because I was so prepped for
ready.
Oh, he is going to try to creep up on her.
What about this marriage proposal moment?
And instead, it's more like they bond as fellow scientists.
Yeah, it opens her mind to be around,
he's telling her.
He's telling her
how he's overcome and
right. I wouldn't have been.
I thought that was interesting. And then
This is every right-wing pro-lifer's favorite episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Right. They play this at the convention.
Right. This is the only one they play at the conventions.
It just seems to me like, how could they possibly maintain enough diversity in the gene pool if they don't allow outsiders in?
I feel like they don't even anticipate outsiders intervening ever. Like, what kind of perfect plan is that? Right. Like, it doesn't seem perfect at all when you think about it.
Right. It is one of those premises that falls apart when you tug at it.
It's like one of those thought experiments.
But but that's exactly what it is. Yeah. It's way more interesting as just a sci-fi concept than anything that would ever really work in the universe. I mean, this is the British royal family, right? This is generations of inbreeding,
and then here's the ironic twist.
Yeah,
they use the idea of the visor to figure out how to save the planet.
No,
and
he's like, a blind man is going to save your life.
Yeah.
And she's like, what? She's like, no such thing is possible. Blind men don't have brains. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
I wish everyone was a little more.
And again,
I wish the Masterpiece people were actually a little snobbier. Yeah. And a little bitchier.
Yeah.
I wish they were more
James Spader in Pretty in Pink.
Yeah, like James Spader in Pretty in Pink.
Or James Spader in Less Than Zero.
Or James Spader. And just as a person.
Yeah.
I love how he's playing a Chopin concerto because that's what it says.
Well, I mean, is that kid playing it?
Well, whatever. Whoever's playing
the giant boner.
My
the guy on the left
point is, why are they playing music that's 800 years old?
Yeah, that's made by
There's been no new good music.
Oh, they're not playing "Sing Sang the Night" by Chalk Pa.
That's right.
They haven't.
Yeah,
they haven't gotten that one in the Masterpiece Society. Well, they're cut off from Earth. They haven't been around for any.
Yeah, they haven't been around for 800 years.
That's right. They left. They left when Chopin was still alive.
They got on a rocket ship.
They took his last piece of music and they were like, "That's it.
We're
Music's
out.
done.
We're done."
Bye."
Who's the guy who cuts all these people's hair?
the real problem with all of these societies, the classic utopian society problem, is that what do you do with creativity? Because creativity is all about disrupting whatever. I hate what the word disrupting has become.
Yeah.
But that is the right word for what I'm trying to describe.
Yeah.
Creativity is about doing something new, and a closed society is about never allowing anything new in.
Preserving a certain.
So I can see why this is like popular with conservatives. It kind of has a conservative message.
Although it is very pro-abortion.
Yeah.
And he's
repressed?
Humpty Dumpty is the most recognizable thing he could think to talk about. A 300-year-old poem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
and sometimes
relevant.
you just have to go, well, audiences in 1992 had to understand what they were talking about. At a certain point, it becomes really ridiculous if you go too far the other way.
Yeah.
And everything's a reference to something you've never heard of.
Sure.
And they're like, well, every child is taught of the famous story.
Well, they could do, what was it, The Vulcan and the
of
Bear?
Jacktar the Fourth.
What was that book that the little
And how
girl
he
read?
sat on a wall.
Yeah.
And all the king's horses and all the Vectar's men could not put
All the
Nantar the
kings,
Ninth together.
Vizraths.
This is good. I hear in a
There's
second.
some
She's
good,
like, "This is wrong," and he's like, "Totally wrong."
Yeah.
He's kind of a young Roy Scheider a little bit.
Got that long head.
Yeah.
I don't like him. And I want better for the women of Star Trek. When Riker meets a girl, she's hot as hell.
Yeah, they don't get as good-looking men guest stars on the
and
show.
the way they
This
made
is how
her,
you know straight people were making
I'm
this.
just like, did Deanna have any choice in this matter? Did
Yeah, I wonder if Marina Sirtis ever was like, ugh, again.
can I talk to you?
She seems too nice to do that.
Oh.
I don't know what it is now, but this lady's breast got super pointy from the last scene.
Hey
to this
man,
scene.
she's perfect. She's been engineered that way.
Right.
Yeah.
They can grow and shrink on command.
Yeah.
As all genetically perfect.
Yeah.
things.
Whatever the outfit demands.
That's right.
And because Jean-Luc and Riker hadn't been on screen in a long time, they brought him back.
Yep.
This whole episode, no offense, Aaron, I feel sorry because you were talking about how you kind of enjoyed it.
That's fine. Go ahead.
I think it's really talky, even by Star Trek The Next Generation standards. It's kind of talky. And the only part of it that interests me is what's Picard going to do? Like, what decision is he going to make as far as repatriating these people or whatever it is they end up wanting to do? I don't like Troy and the guy, so this...
But clearly they boned, right?
Yes, it's the next morning. They say in the scene
We boned.
it's
Yeah.
been
She said she got up early.
Yeah. No, they boned. There's a lot of next week's episode is bony too.
Yep. A lot of boning in the next episode. He's got a
And it's
weird
not even
look
like-
on his face all the time.
It's not even that her dilemma is, am I going to stay or go? Because she's never really planning on staying. She's more mad in the like, I went on vacation, I fucked a local, and they fell in love with me, and I probably shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Like, she more kind of like is like, ugh, this
Well,
was a
and
bad
I told
mistake.
Philippe that's what Kirk does every damn episode.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So
But
she's got to
But
feel bad
but
about
Kirk
it.
doesn't like angst about it.
That's
like
what I'm saying.
I wish she had just been like, yeah, we had a great fun
right.
night.
I don't understand why.
I still don't know what you're upset about. So bye.
You,
You know?
you think she would be more sex positive?
Yeah. Well, that's 1992 for you, I suppose.
I just think that she wouldn't.
Because everything about the Betazoids is like we take all of our clothes
Right,
off when we
right,
get married. Like,
Yeah.
and every once in a while they remember that, and they do have her sort of be
Way
Yeah.
progressive.
a little more on that side, but
She's
but not when
accepted.
it's about her personally.
She felt bad 'cause
Abstractly,
Yeah.
she's sex positive.
Yeah.
When it's Riker or whatever, and she's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I don't care what you do.
Well, she takes
But when
being
it's
a
about
counselor
her,
serious.
she's a little more
Traditional.
Yeah, she falls in love easily.
She's more worried that she wasn't professional because
Yeah.
she came down there as like a staff member to do her job, and then she's like had this side thing.
Right,
on.
she had a
feels
side
like it
piece.
was unprofessional.
Well, it was a little bit, right? That was probably not.
Yeah.
But you're right. Kirk did it all the time. They all do it all the time. Riker does it.
Yep.
She's the only one who's ever anguished about it.
I can't remember ever seeing anyone
When you're
else
a
be
counselor,
sorry.
you're supposed to always be a little bit like
More in control of your
Every
emotions.
time, I don't know what it is about this guy, but I am not in love with this guy.
I am not. First of all, his hair looks fake. I'm not in love with that guy.
Yeah.
I don't buy any of this.
I can see why she would like him though. I get it.
You do?
That's
interesting.
Well, she's like I think you're right, Aaron. That it's she's looking at it from this guy's got an empathic.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Because there was like that whole
Well, don't-
contrast with his colleague who was all kind of stubborn, and he's more.
So is it that she likes his politics because he wants to
She liked his diplomatic way. That's the first compliment, and that sort of breaks the ice with them. Is she's like,
He's a counselor too.
I watched this, but it was a couple weeks ago, so I don't remember every.
That's when they
detail
first
of it.
interact. She's like pays them this compliment, so she likes his style.
Yeah, but see,
His
that's
sexy,
exactly the
sexy
same.
style.
That's exactly the same as when Beverly fell in love with mind rape guy. Like, they never pick hot guys. They just pick guys that they quote unquote admire, which feels to me like a writer's room full of male nerds being like,
Putting them
well,
into-
what would the girls like? Well, they'd like someone who's very smart and thoughtful.
Yeah.
Is that how
They-
they sound in the writers?
That in 1992 in the writers' room of Star Trek: The Next Generation, correct.
The gas they pumped into that room.
They were constantly adjusting their glasses.
I know. I'm like,
Comic book guy was
Tape
based
on
on
there
that
now.
room.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure they're writing what they think, and probably not even in like a mean way or a sexist way, but just like this is probably what the ladies would like to see is, you know, like someone who is an equal to our lady cast members, you know, so that you can understand why she would fall in love with him instead of having it just be like, you're hot. You know?
Which is what happens on the
Which
other
is what
side.
happens when it's the other way around.
yeah.
Kirk has sex with an Indian girl and
puts a baby in her.
Never sees her again.
And then leaves.
Never even talks about her again.
She gets killed. And then he just leaves her.
Well, she's
Puts
dead.
a baby on her.
He does. She's pregnant when she dies. They literally never talk about that again.
Spock makes out with the lady on the ice planet.
Yeah, in the past.
He never talks about it ever
Okay,
again.
he never talks about it, but they did write a couple of novels that I read
Of course
in the
they
late
are.
80s about that kid and about Spock rebonding with that
That's
kid.
the most Star Trek
Because he
writers
comes
room
back
comment of
through.
the
He
night.
comes back through the time travel thing, and the kid and Spock become friends. So at least some writer followed that up. Nobody followed up Kirk
Like,
knocking up the squaw.
Look at this fucking outfit. They like zippers in the future.
Yeah.
That's exactly the same outfit he was wearing at the beginning of the episode.
He changed and he's back into it.
They just filmed both of those scenes on the same day. And they were like, nobody will remember that he was wearing
That's
the same
all I
shirt.
noticed, people.
She got 3 outfit changes so far.
I mean, he was a big part of the episode, and so was she.
Yeah.
They gave the guest stars something to do.
Yeah. Usually they only have to make 1 outfit. Somebody was like having to make 2 or 3 outfits per.
Oh, now what's happening?
Well,
she wants to leave?
They figured the problem out, and so now everything's not good.
I thought
So-
I thought this was over.
No, that's the whole thing. Like,
How long have we been
the
recording?
stakes of the
This is
danger end, and there's
I
still like
literally
20
was
minutes
about
more
to
of the
say
episode.
This is
Thank
where I
you.
came in, guys. This is where the USS denouement comes in.
Oh, all right.
I was literally about to say please go to iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Lunar flare.
I thought this thing was over.
No, there's
they
still a
saved
little-
the planet.
Well, now there's the actual like
we want
moral conundrum because
Right.
the lady, the scientist lady, wants to leave.
And it's not just her, right? It's a few people. Do they all want to go?
I'll be honest with you, I fell asleep at the end of the
23
episode.
people
I
wanna
watched.
leave.
I
23
watched it-
people. Erin gave us the numbers.
She watched it
I
today.
think it has a DNA.
I watched it 2 weeks
Isn't
ago, and I was a
23
little bit
important
drunk.
Number 23 and me.
Well, 23 is half of the. Is,
Oh, that's you think
Half
that's
of
a
a DNA
reference?
string.
Half
I
the
think
chromosome.
so.
He
Why would they
probably.
pick that number?
That isn't
Some
exactly
nerd in the
nerdy.
writer's room
Yeah.
love that idea.
Yeah.
there was
What
a
if
lot of.
it's exactly half?
in the writer's room that you.
Yeah.
23.
Can I write that the girl has pointy boobs?
If I write into the script that she has to have pointy boobs, will they
Well, they have to do it.
find a pointy boob actress? Is that how it works?
Yes, Magnus. Yeah.
You know, the three of us are three of the nerdier people. We are clearly the three of us together. I'm excluding Erin out of politeness.
Yes.
The three of us are in the bottom 10%.
Yeah, for
if,
sure.
if not more. You're a professional video game maker. That's got to knock you down.
Yep. There's
And-
a lot of nerdy.
And we are shitting on the guys who are like, yeah, everyone always shits downward, you know?
I'm sitting down.
I feel bad for mocking those guys.
I
now.
know, but I'm also paying like.
Please, they were writing for Star Trek. They're fine.
No, I didn't mean the real writers.
Oh.
I meant the imaginary ones
In our minds.
making up in our minds. It's like, those guys don't deserve that. They're fine. So they want to see a pointy-boobed girl on
What's
screen.
wrong with
What's
that?
wrong with that?
Yeah. It only helped the ratings.
So she's been faking there being problems so that she can stay on the ship.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want to go back.
Oh, I missed that altogether.
Yeah. Well,
I really
she-
was drunk. When
She had a faraway look in her eye when the problem was resolved, and you're like, something's up with her. And then right subsequently, she's like, yes, we dodged the big bullet, but like there's fractures or something that like we're still getting radiation in, and it's an imminent threat. Like we still have stuff we have to deal with. And then Jordy's all like, my magic visor would have told me about that.
Oh, she's like, you're making that shit up. Yeah.
And then
And now
that's when
she's
she
like,
messes
I
up.
want to go.
She's like, I'm supposed to be this amazing scientist, and it took meeting you to like realize I need exposure to different stuff.
Right. It's the same exact argument we were making about art earlier. It's like, how do you be a scientist when there's nothing to discover?
Well, do you ever watch that movie, The Third Man, with Orson Welles?
Sure.
And he's all like talking about all the year, basically Italy has all these wars and conflict, and they come up with all this art, and then like Switzerland or whatever has not the same thing.
Right. There's no famous Swiss artists. Yeah.
It's sort of like it comes out of like the churn, right?
Conflict. Yeah.
Anyway.
So now Picard's like, fuck, I have to get involved this week.
Yep.
He's like, I was trying to stay out of this.
I was
apparently
hanging out.
I can't.
Hanging
And
out
meanwhile,
with-
Deanna's like, by the way, Jean-Luc, I have to tell you something. I fucked the guy in charge down there.
Yeah, you should
And
know.
I really shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But like, Riker's never had to do this kind of
And I
speech
feel like
before.
he's definitely boffed the female in charge.
100%. On the sex planet?
Yeah.
It's when he went, they were on the lady planet where the ladies were in charge.
Well, that one, but also just the sex planet where Wesley steps on the flower.
No, yeah.
Sure.
Flower.
That's an old one. You
Yeah.
won't remember that one.
I kind of do.
All the people in their white robes.
Everything is perfect. If you break any rule, though, the punishment is
My point
bad.
is, nobody else has ever had to say this on this show. And
Yeah.
it sucks that Deanna has
And
to.
then, like,
because she's the lady, so she has to be punished for the fact that
she has to be
fucked this
forgiven by Picard.
Right, she has to go to the man and say, please forgive me.
Yep.
And he just like, you're forgiven.
He does. To his credit, he does. Like, he doesn't give her shit about it. It could have been worse.
Jean-Luc is very sex positive.
Well, it could have been worse. Like, really, when you think about it, it could have been a lot worse.
Sure.
Because it could have been Picard being like,
well,
you are unprofessional and how dare you, and he doesn't do
they
any
live in
of
their
that.
own controlled environment where they don't get to be around new people very much, really.
Right, yeah. Picard's like, I get it.
Yeah.
Wait till you hear what I did
gotta-
on Risa.
If you're going to find a date, sometimes you got to
Find a
strike while
genetically perfect
Yeah.
one.
Genetically perfect Pee Wee Herman, you get on that.
Yeah.
That is well. That's the title of the episode,
Yeah.
Sean.
Genetically
I dislike.
Although
Here's what I love about the
would
fact
prefer
that
Pee Wee
you're
Herman over
editing
that.
the episodes. I love that I don't have to do it. What I don't love is that you're not making
Well,
funny
I started
episodes.
thinking about it, and I thought it might be hurting our listenership.
Oh, because you think
it's-
they're searching for, but you
people-
have to put the actual title in right below it.
I think that it helps people find the episodes if they're looking for if they're doing searches.
It has
for-
how have our numbers?
I haven't looked.
How have
I
our
haven't
numbers
looked, so I'm just
jumped?
testing
Guys,
it.
let's
Just
go back
testing
to
it.
our biodome.
Yeah.
Shush.
Neither of us are actually bad. I just think it's hilarious because we both know that we have like 14 listeners.
And we got a new subscriber this week, so I'm excited.
May or may not be a bot, but we did pick up.
Well, why would we pick up a bot subscriber?
I don't know. I don't know how these things work.
Yeah. Well, the bots are going to take over. I mean, maybe it's just good that we start courting them.
Hey, I'm on board. I've been pro robot takeover from the beginning.
Philippe, are you
robot.
are you aware of Nothing Forever?
Nothing forever. No.
Sean, are you aware
No, I
of
don't know
Nothing
that.
Forever? I think that's what it might be. Forever or Nothing. No, I think it's Nothing Forever. This is a bot created version of Seinfeld.
I have heard of it. I didn't know that's what it's called.
The AI, like
Yeah,
they
yeah,
fed
yeah. I
the
didn't know.
AI Seinfeld,
And it makes Seinfeld.
and now it just generates not episodes because there's really no plot, but
Right.
like it
Little scenes and
generates
stuff.
like vignettes
Yeah.
of the characters standing around in the
Talking.
apartment, talking in bot voices about completely boring things.
mundane.
And it is really, really, really funny for 2.5 minutes. But it's really funny. It's so worth those 2.5
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
It's also real, like they're like glitchy. They like go into the walls, so they'll be like floating upside down. So like the AI is not doing a great job of
Yeah.
like getting the visuals right either. It's very strange. It is one of those.
I heard it
weird-
got like super like transphobic or something.
Yeah. So here was the discourse online.
Okay.
Was or was not the AI Seinfeld episode generator being transphobic?
Well, somebody has
And
to
I
feed
think
it
I
the
landed
AI,
on
right?
no.
Yeah,
It wasn't.
I saw little bits and pieces online.
Well, how does it
Because
get
the actual
intelligence?
joke-
It's from
The actual joke was making fun of transphobic
People.
comedians.
Okay.
So the AI actually inadvertently made a meta joke. Because what the AI does is sometimes it shows little clips of Larry doing his stand-up, just like they did on the show, right?
Right.
So Larry is standing there in front of a real pixelated stuff.
what the heck?
Your children are here.
Oh,
That's not.
Sorry for the interruption, folks.
sorry, I thought it was an earthquake. I
No,
thought it
no.
was, what is it called?
The stellar core
Core.
A
fragment.
stellar core fragment.
Yeah.
So, anyways, they made a transphobic joke.
But the joke was Larry says something like, I'm paraphrasing here, but Larry says something like, "Hey, I'm standing up here and no one is laughing at me. Like, why isn't it? What if I made some transphobic jokes? What if I made some transphobic jokes? Oh, now people are leaving." Oh. like something like
Something
that.
along those lines.
But it's not a transphobic joke. It's a joke about how people don't think transphobic jokes are funny.
Right?
Yeah.
So it was accused of being, but I think it wasn't. I think it was actually.
Well, what you're describing does not sound transphobic.
Well, and neither. It was neither is the real answer because it was not a thinking thing. It was just, It was accidentally.
Well, but I would argue that
which is what's funny about that
comes
show.
from somewhere, and it can't be totally unbiased. So it is possible for AI to be something, right?
Right. I mean, AI is only what you tell it.
This is the premise of M. Threegan. Has anybody seen
No,
M. Threegan?
I still
Not yet, but
haven't
isn't
seen
it streaming?
God damn it, you people.
I know.
How
I'm
many times do I have to ask?
I know. I felt terrible that I hadn't seen it.
We're in the middle
today.
of February.
I feel really bad. I'm sorry.
I did watch.
I failed.
Movie's been out for 6 weeks.
I know.
No, well, you know what? That does make up for it. You're forgiven. Sean's not.
I got no.
Now, Sean edited. Sean's engineering this episode, so you get a pass.
That's right.
But that's one of the. That's how she becomes self-aware, right? Is because she self-iterates by searching everything on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So she just and eventually the persona that she settles on is murderous bitch.
Yeah.
She's great.
Okay. Well, I look forward to it. I think it's.
There will be
widely available.
7 bazillion Megans on Santa Monica Boulevard on Halloween.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That'll be fun.
We should go to Halloween in West Hollywood.
Oh, I would love to.
I haven't been in a
been
very long time.
decade at
For a
least.
couple of years.
I would love to just walk around.
I went dressed as Nacho Libre.
Yeah.
One year, I didn't have a shirt on, just had the cape.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
Oh, I was very popular.
I bet you were.
And then I looked like, aside from I wore the
I
mask
dare you to
on,
do it again.
and then I would take the mask off because I had really curly hair at the time, and I had the mustache. And people were like, "Holy shit!"
You actually had the
yeah, underneath the mask.
Yeah.
And Catherine was dressed like the nun, and people kept giving her shit. They were like, thought she was an actual
Like,
nun.
fuck you, nun.
Why are you going to ruin our fun?
Catholic Church. We hate you. Well, that's an amazing story. And that is the story. That is what I love about West Hollywood Halloween. I don't really care about, I don't want to go into bars or anything like that.
It's just about walking
It's just
around.
fun walking around and
So fun.
seeing. It's the most creative costumes ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are so creative.
I remember there was a guy who was dressed up just kind of like the pieces of palm tree that fall down, and he was just laying next to a palm tree, so it just looked like,
he just blended in.
organic material had come off of the tree, and then he started moving, and it was like, what?
Oh,
Fish is
in
there. Livington there.
I saw it at the same time.
I was there with our friend Lewis.
Yeah, sure.
And we would, the two of us would joke about the game in West Hollywood. Is it beautiful woman or drag queen?
Oh, yeah.
And so, but we found there was like a guy.
Usually you can.
There was a guy walking down the street that his outfit was just, Lewis called it, he's dressed as pretentious gay man.
Yeah.
That was this.
You better watch your step. Talking to Philippe, not you, Sean. Go on.
I know. Well, the episode's over.
Okay.
I didn't hear the end of the story. What was he dressed as?
Well, that's what we said. Pretentious gay man.
But what did that mean?
I don't know.
Describe
He kind of looked like a
fancy guy.
butterfly. He had like wings off of. He was topless. And he had like these,
like those
onto
butterfly strap. things.
to his arm.
Oh, it was the early 2000s, wasn't it?
And it was somewhere around there.
Let's all go as butterflies.
Oh my god.
It was fun.
Yeah, West Hollywood Halloween is fun. The episode ended. What happened?
They let the people go, right?
Aaron?
Yeah,
What happened?
they let the 23 people that wanted to scoot. And
Because Deanna talked what's his name into it, or no?
I think
they just
Picard
decided-
basically said that they had to let him go.
He Picarded them.
Yeah, I
Oh.
think. Is that what
then
happened
he
there?
felt kind of. I can't remember.
Was it
There was
rousing?
some talking. There was some.
Oh,
talking
you watched this part, Philippe.
Was
Didn't
it?
you?
Was it Patrick Stewart like doing what he does?
Patrick Stewart
He felt
reluctantly.
conflicted
And
about
delivering
it.
a
He's
great
like the prime
speech.
He
directive
does deliver
is that
a
we
speech.
don't
He basically
interfere.
goes to Connor and he's like, look, we're not going to deny them if they want to go, but I'm going to suggest that they like think about it.
Oh yeah,
carefully."
they want him to stay 6
So
months.
they both go to the center square where Connor's like, if you go, you're going to like ruin this culture, so stay for 6 months.
Oh, they decide on a 6-month sort of amnesty
Think it
thing.
through.
Think it
Right.
through. It's a think it through period. A cool down
If after
period.
6 months you still want to go,
Yeah,
you can go.
But then,
Okay,
then
first
then
of
they
all-
start freaking out, and they're like, "Nah, you're just gonna use that 6 months to like badger
Pressure
us."
And then you're going to expand it.
Oh,
to
right.
turn to
So they
9
fuck
months.
off anyway.
And
Do
then
they fuck off anyway?
They fuck off anyway, and then just join the
Because
thing.
they're like, fuck you and your 6-month compromise.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they
That's
have-
6 months of being treated like shit.
yeah, and then they
Yeah.
like bring them, and then like
I did like that part. I
Riker-
liked that they were like, fuck you in 6 months. We want to
Yeah.
go now.
Yeah.
Riker and like
I liked that part.
Picard have a convo about like.
Did
Did we
do
violate
the
the
right thing?
Prime Directive?
Yeah.
And then
We got-
Riker's all like, "They're
No.
humans; they don't count." And then he's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
what I was thinking.
That's crazy.
and
by the
then
way.
Riker's like,
That's
and then,
crazy that a random ship from Starfleet can show up and 32 people can be like, hey, can we go? And you can just go.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, I guess, I feel like they should have been able to go. I was like,
Yeah, I think they should be able to go.
Yeah, but it's crazy to
They were
think
just
about
guilty
because
on
if
that
like
the whole puzzle piece of their
Right. Well, but I think their argument was like, look, so you got to adapt.
yeah.
Fucking,
Yeah.
you'll be fine. Just figure out a new way to
Yeah.
live. We
They
don't
were
have to
just
be.
in the set it and forget it phase.
Yep.
yeah.
Very good. Fun times, guys.
It is weird. Again, you can't think about it too hard because
Right.
you're
Yeah.
just like
because you do, and you're like, it doesn't work on.
if 32 people are enough
23.
to
23.
if 23 people are enough to really
Throw off. How many people were on? Did they
how
ever
many people
say?
are there?
Did they say how many people were there?
I don't remember.
I feel like it's got to be less than 1,000, right? If that's 23 people are gonna fuck it up.
They make a point of saying something like, "Oh, we made sure we weren't going to have like genetic problems or
Yeah, they
whatever."
say that they've got. It just like doesn't seem like that's possible.
Really
If they've been there for 200 years, it says.
It must be like manipulating the genes like manually.
Yeah, well, they were genetically
Right.
perfect, right?
Yep.
I guess perfect means perfect. I think that was fine.
Yeah, like I
It's
said,
fine.
I fell asleep when I was watching it, so it was kind of. I thought the end was once they figured out the problem, and then it was just about whether or not they were going to leave the planet or not. I lost interest.
Whether they were going to leave the planet or not is the only part that's interesting. Of course, they were going to save the planet.
Well, of course they were going to leave.
I don't know. I didn't know if they would leave.
I know, but I'm just saying, as a dramatic
Well, sure,
concept,
of course.
that part is more interesting.
Right. But it was all talky.
I hate
even the like
Deanna's taste in that.
stopping the catastrophic event was them just shooting a beam at a big white thing.
Isn't that like half the time? It's
That's
like,
how they always do everything.
Yeah. It's like, we need to
That's-
fight this energized
That's what they
cloud.
do.
Shoot a beam or 3 beams.
Shooting a beam is their answer
Yeah.
to everything.
Everything's a beam.
It's either a beam or a conversation. That's how they solve
Yeah.
things. It's peace or war.
Occasionally, a super like a custom photon torpedo they've hacked with something.
Uh-huh.
That's the dark horse, third option.
Ron Canada, God bless you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there you go. We're halfway
like I
through
was
season
in
5
Canada
now,
when
guys.
it was
That's pretty good.
Only 13 episodes left in season 5.
Thank you all very much for listening. You can go to iTunes or wherever you get your podcast to rate, review, and subscribe. You can email us at warptrek@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at Warped Trek. I'm host Warped. Min is at Wet Maynard for Dungeons and Dragons and Call of Cthulhu podcasts and live streams. We're on Instagram at Warped Trek. Our merch is at lunar_flare. And next week, Conundrum.
Now, this is a good one.
I watched it again a couple nights ago, and it is real good.
Yep.
Nice. Looking forward to it.
Till then, my name is Sean.
My name is Matt.
Leap.
Aaron.
Thank you and good night.